Y'all ready to be history?
Get started.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
To the Pro Audio Suite.
These guys are professional. They're motivated.
With Tech to the VO stars. George Whittam, founder of Source Elements. Robert Marshall, international audio engineer. Darren Robbo Robertson. And global voice. Andrew Peters. Thanks to Tribooth. Austrian Audio. Making passion heard. Source Elements. George the Tech Whittam. And Robbo and AP's international demos. To find out more about us, check theproaudiosuite.com.
Line up, ladies!
Here we go.
And welcome to another Pro Audio Suite, thanks to Tribooth. Don't forget the code TRIPAP200 to get $200 off your Tribooth and Austrian Audio, making passion heard. Today's topic, I'm going to steal this one, and I will give credit to Bobby Gosinski, his podcast, The Inner Circle. He's doing an interview, and it was one of the subjects sort of jumped out at me, and I thought, that's interesting, being a person who holds a lot of expensive outboard gear, and I know Robert has the same habit. Is it worth hanging on to, and will it go up in value? And is it better than plugins? That is my question I pose to you.
I think you got to frame it by whose point of view.
Yeah.
From a studio owner's point of view, or commercial studio owner's point of view, from a voice actor's point of view, and from just like a sheer collector's point of view.
From a hoarder's point of view.
Hoarder.
I think, there's a few different points of view. I mean, if I was to sell my stuff, then I'd probably end up selling it to a commercial studio, I'm guessing, because a voiceover talent's not going to buy the stuff I've got in here, but a music studio may.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're banking on is there going to be more commercial grade music studios vying for this less and less common gear. It's harder to get. That would drive up the price.
Because, I mean, the thing is, a lot of the stuff you buy now, there's so many clones of all this classic gear.
Purple and Warm, and there's all these companies, right?
But don't you reckon there's something tactile about turning a knob, or adjusting?
Yeah, but you can get that with a clone of the new stuff as the old stuff.
Not even
so
a digital clone, but an actual analog clone.
Yeah. You can get that, and some of that kind of holds its value probably. But the original LA-2As and the original 1176s, those go way up in value. I had a original Tube Screamer pedal that was stolen from me, and those things are like $1,000. And I have a reissue now of a Tube Screamer, and I don't know if it sounds different or not. To somebody out there, those pedals are worth a lot more when they're the original one that they don't make anymore, that has the what have you chip in it that you can't get anymore. So I don't know that a lot of that stuff really makes such a huge difference in sound, to be honest. Like a purple 1176 is still a really great compressor as an original 1176. But there's definitely a lot of cachet.
Yeah, it's like microphones, really. I mean, a classic U47, you're going to be paying like $25,000 for it, or U67 for sure. So, I'm guessing it's going to be the same with Outboard. If you had a 2254 and an original square 2254, that would be worth a fortune.
Probably like 10 grand or something, or more. I don't even know. Yeah.
So, but a lot of people are getting used to, this was the interesting part. It's like you get a reference. So if you started as an intern in a studio and you worked your way up in a proper commercial studio, you have a reference in your head, the sound of the real stuff. So when you hear a clone, unless it's a very good clone, you'll pick it. You'll pick the difference. But a lot of people are kicking off their careers in bedrooms, so they have no reference of what this stuff sounds like. I
mean, let's just take something we're looking at. How close is that 737 plug-in to those units behind you?
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty close, because the reason I have some to get rid of is we've been replacing them with the virtual plug-in. And in this particular case, in my opinion, the 737 preamps being Class A, they're very, very clean. I mean, they really have no character to
sound.
Them. They don't have transformers, and they just have a really clean sound. So in my opinion, they're really easy to replace because they don't really have much character to them. Not like a Neve or something. So in my opinion, it's very easy to replace them. Now, we've used the plugins, and we did some extensive testing with one of my clients, obsessively so. We did hear a difference between his particular Avalon 737 and the plugin we were using. That it was
then the
like
first question.
It was an EQ thing. I found a little
Is
frequency
it
that I.
better or worse or just different, you know?
It wasn't a better or worse thing. It was just not exactly identical. There was something in the mids, like in the 2K-ish, where somewhere that wasn't exactly the same, and we bumped one up a dB or two. I mean, it was similar. It was really, really similar. I think a better comparison could be maybe, I don't have one, of course, but a Manley Voxbox to the Voxbox plugin.
If someone wants to buy me the Manley VariMu, I've got a VariMu.
You have a VariMu?
I have a VariMu, yeah.
Oh, wow. Do they still make those?
I think so.
Okay. So what's the concept behind a VariMu?
The compression style, it's like, I forget exactly, but it's like, you know, instead of an optical, it's a very variable mu, which I would have to AI it.
You have to Google that one.
Remember.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of AI, I used an AI and I put into the system, has the value of used vintage audio recording equipment increased at a rate that outpaces inflation? Well, the first piece of data it gave me was about new audio gear, and that clearly is a different story. It says it has deflated sharply since 1977. So, you know, the equivalent of a $20 is about $20 worth of gear in 77 would now be $5.80 worth. Like if you're going to go buy a receiver, right? It's just they've devalued because they've gotten so much cheaper to produce. But let's talk about vintage gear. And again, it's doing a comparison here of consumer stuff, not pro. So it mentioned a Sansui G9000. It has doubled in value in 2 years, while some Marantz units are escalating rapidly also. But others have noted that things like the 1178, it says 1178.
1178.
Yeah, that's.
It might be, I mean, that's a home stereo amp? Or
No, now it's going into pro audio, and I think it's starting to hallucinate because the model numbers are 1178, LA-2A, and CL1B. Anybody know what a CL1B is?
So the CL1B is a modern recreate of a Tube Tech. Is a Tube Tech recreate of a Pultec EQ.
Yeah, so these model numbers are a little bit word soup.
I think. Or CL1B is a compressor.
Yeah. So
it's a Tube Tech compressor, though.
So a community member notes that reissues and vintage models they climbed from 2,200 to 2,700 and over 3,000 during the pandemic era. Certain brands from the 60s and 70s continue to go up in price because of reputation and looks. They're going up roughly the same rate as the stock market, says somebody on GearSpace.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, here's one I can tell you. I've got a Neve 1073 DPA. I bought it probably 10 years ago, I guess. I think I paid $2,000 for it. And I've just seen a used one on eBay for $4,000.
Wow. So 10 years ago, you doubled your money.
If you could sell it for that. I always search for closed or completed sales because there's a lot of I'll put it, there's a lot of stuff on eBay that is the wife has been nagging me to sell this shit for years. So I'll put it up on eBay for an aspirational price and just let it sit there for 5 years so that she doesn't nag me about it. 'Cause, honey, it's on eBay.
I'll tell you one that I did actually do really well on. I bought a Neve 8-channel mixer from the 80s, right after Rupert left. So it's and I bought that thing for $5,000, and I think it's $15,000 now.
Wow.
Or some people try to get $15,000 for it now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're getting it though again.
I think it has to be really venerable. The stuff, the more it's knocked off, the more it's probably worth. Wouldn't you say? Yeah.
So this one's not knocked off a lot. And if anything, it's knocked on. All the Neve snobs are like, that's not a Neve because Neve wasn't there when Neve made that one. That's a John Pope.
Oh, yeah.
What model is the one you were talking about, AP? The
1073 DPA, which is AMS Neve.
But if your 1073 was an original 1073, it'd be like freaking $10,000.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the States.
Because yours is an actual Neve recreate, but it is a Neve.
Yeah.
It's legit.
It's not like a Heritage.
Oh, it's basically like Neumann.
Circuit match, right? It's an exact circuit match. Yeah,
well,
I mean,
as much as Neve can match
a
it.
brand new one in the
modern
US right
times.
now is $27.43.
Yeah.
So that's
And
probably
here
four
with
Gs.
the exchange rate at there,
Yeah.
close to 4,200,
Yeah.
which is
So-
about the same.
What are VariMus going for?
I don't know. I'm on Reverb. You guys use Reverb down under?
I've bought a lot of stuff off Reverb.
How about in
I
Australia?
know of Reverb, but no. I don't know whether people sell much.
No, what's reverb?
It's
good
very
for-
trustworthy.
It's good for pricing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
$5,000, 5,500.
yeah, so I got mine for $4,000, but you can buy them for $3,500 used. So $3,300. It's like I've lost money on that one.
The 2254 Neve compressor, the AMS version, which is what I've got here, a new one of those is 4,500 Australian dollars. But if you have a 2254 limiter compressor vintage rack stereo pair, US dollars, 12,000.
So yeah, I mean, there's certain gear that is still very commonly available and or still being made new, which definitely is going to have, like the Avalons are a great example. They still produce these.
I think the VariMu is still being made.
Right. So that drives down the used price a fair deal. And I thought these things were worth well over $2,000. They're not. They're worth $1,500 to $1,700. The Avalons.
For those Avalons.
And you know what? Every one of them that I'm selling has been refurbed. So there's about $500 to $700 in labor into each one of these units. So
Yeah.
I have to recoup $1,000. I can recoup $1,000 maybe on these. But yeah, they're definitely not going up in value in terms of used market. The Avalons, they're pretty kind of stable.
The other question is, as people dealing with audio, can you hear the difference between a clone or a plug-in as opposed to a real piece of...
Well, I mean, you can have 5 LA-2As that are all going to sound different, right?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with anything that's got tubes or old wiring and capacitors and stuff. All that stuff degrades and ages over time. So, like I said, when I bring these Avalons into my friends over at Audio Rehab, which is the official repair center of Avalon for the entire United States, it's going to come out of there benching as a new unit. No questions asked. No, you would not hear the difference in that case. But yeah, when they're truly vintage and they haven't been benched in 5, 10, 20 years, yeah, they're all going to sound different for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, even UA has in their library of Teletronics LA-2As, their models, there's 3 or 4 different models. They all have a different, image on the screen, and one looks like it's got little, Dymo labels stuck on it, like somebody's original piece of gear out of his. It probably came out of, what's his face's
and
studio.
people played with this. Like who's the plug-in manufacturer that we interviewed? Where it's like that's not just any Fairchild, that's so and so's Fairchild that we cloned.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Plug-in Alliance that they have. Imagine you have a Neve desk and there's 80 channels in the Neve desk. It's expected that not all 80 channels are the same. And so in their plugin, when you throw the plugin down many times, they have a setting that they have patented that gives every single plugin reiteration of that within your DAW a different sound. So that
my
somehow,
God.
You didn't know about that?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the world I live in, but that's insane. I mean, I know what it's all about, authenticity, but holy smokes. It's like sampled instruments. They only got sampled pianos and Rhodes and stuff only got good when they started sampling them at every velocity, softer, harder, and then
and it's still not good enough when
it's still not the same.
When you go with the really soft, you're like, come on, I can hit a piano hammer so soft that it doesn't make any sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Plug-in Alliance calls it variable harmonics.
Wow.
And you can make it.
Is it a random, sort of a randomizer?
It's a randomizer that changes the TVT. No. Sorry. Tolerance modeling technology. TMT. TMT, patented by Brainworks. This technology is used by many plug-in products, including the Lindell Audio 50 series. Functionality, TMT emulates the minor component variations found in various analog hardware. This process adds a slight realistic difference in tolerance between every single plug-in channel.
I don't like the way this mix sounds. Hang on, hit the button. Click.
Let me fuck it up.
Randomizes all the models.
Right.
Do it again. No, that's better. I think I like that better. Now go back to the first one. I can't. It was random.
So by introducing these subtle imperfections, TMT creates harmonic variations across multiple tracks, which provides depth and realism associated with analog consoles.
Wow.
Maybe they couldn't make it consistent, and then they called it a feature.
There you go. Well, if it's machine learning based, then it would have problems with
Patent that flaw.
Well, anything that's machine learning has problems with consistency. So if that's part of what's going on, I mean, I don't think so, but
yeah.
That's fascinating. And I haven't really seen machine learning entering the world of modeled preamps and modeled gear yet. So I guess that's the next thing, probably. You could go to the plugin and go, type into the thing, I just hit you with a hammer 3 times. What do you sound like now? You know, and it's like
Drop
microphonic
it.
and it's distorting and oh man,
That's like the spring reverb that they modeled the sound of someone kicking the amp.
right.
Yeah.
Boing. They did that.
Did they really?
Yes, and one of the soft tube spring reverb, you can flick it and it,
Yeah, I mean,
there's a knob for it.
It really does depend on how unique the pre is, I think, or the piece is, how hard it is to find, and how popular it is right now. Some of it's not really like gaining, some of it's matching, inflation, and some is outpacing it. Some is doing as well as stock. I mean, if you have a used piece of gear that's doing as well as the stock market, that's pretty good. Because the stock market is better than real estate. And at least here it is. So
At the moment.
At the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
At the moment.
But we've also seen the real estate market go haywire too.
Yeah. So it's fascinating to look at, but it doesn't really go down or down fast. So there's that. Yeah. I mean, I have a bag of junk silver that hasn't really gone up in value in the last 10 years. So
Yeah.
I might actually have lost money on that.
If you talk to Andrew Sheps, he mixes in the box now.
Yeah.
You mean the creator of the Sheps Omni channel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course. He made his
difference.
Own Why would you spend all the time to make a plugin if you didn't believe it was amazing?
But I mean, you recall the desk, and you know how clients are, and it's a business, and it is so much more practical to mix in the box and recall that thing and make a tweak.
Yep.
And the most you want to have is maybe something on your master chain. But if you get too far out on gear, you can only mix it in one place. You can't have it on your laptop. You can't recall it and do a quick change for somebody.
Let's talk about summing amplifiers sometime, too. That's a whole nother mystical piece of the mix-down puzzle. Summing amps.
Or even people just talking about different DAWs having different summing characteristics. And now they make,
I always use the Harrison DAW because of its summing.
Oh, it's real analog, right? Or UA is trying to say that their Luna is like sounds real, and then Pro Tools has heat on the mix bus,
right? Which
is literally just all of these things are distortions.
Just distortions, yeah. Tape saturators, virtual tape decks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah,
I can say, having used tape saturators and real tape, it's really hard to get one that feels really exactly the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's just something about tracking drums through tape that works really well.
It takes away a lot of compressor
and I think
work
it's really
later.
the drums themselves, it does the compression for you.
You don't have to spend nearly as much time monkeying with compressors trying to get that.
Yeah, it just kind of gets them in a nice fat, like kind of consistent, or I don't know about consistent, but just has a certain like roundness without being overly compressed. And it just happens for you so much easier. And then you try the tape emulators, and they just flipping them on and off, and you're like, can I hear it? And probably the difference is that, like, the tape deck is really like messed up. The tape emulators are emulating a tape deck that's properly set up Meanwhile,
Right.
your love of the tape deck is it's not really well calibrated or hasn't been calibrated in a while.
Well, I mean, I've been listening to cassette tapes a little bit because I bought my daughter a cassette boombox, little mini tiny one that has CD player in the top and Bluetooth and stuff. And I was at her house and I played a tape that I bought for her, a Billie Eilish tape, her newest albums on cassette. And
Good God.
and I played it back on her deck and it sounded like shit, you know? I was like, is that the deck or is that the tape, right? So fortunately, I had made her a dub of my own. I took her top 30 songs on Spotify, recorded them through a Sony cassette deck that I bummed off a friend of mine who never uses it, right? And it won't rewind, but it still records perfectly. and you know, I made a tape for her. I had that tape too. I put that into her deck and it sounded so much better. All it did remind me is that bin looped mass-produced cassettes still sound like garbage.
Sound like garbage.
Maybe Billie Eilish cleaned the heads of the tape deck.
Right.
That could have
But
been
the
it.
point of those cassettes is not at all about quality because I was shocked at how good the tape sounded. When I made that one for my daughter, I actually sat and listened to pretty much the whole tape, headphones plugged right into the deck. And I was like, damn, this sounds
you
pretty...
can't hear above 14K anymore.
It just sounded pretty solid, you know? It sounded clean and good. And then I shipped her off the tape. But I don't know, my point being, I guess, is that, you know, I don't know what my point is. Go ahead, AP.
No. I was just going to say that I remember years ago, I was back in the 80s, I was in the UK doing some interviews and they'd always give you like a white label or, promotional copy of whatever record you're going to be talking to the person about. And the best one I got was actually, which I've since lost, which is so annoying. It was the drummer from Orange Juice, a guy called Zig Magnika. And they gave me his album on cassette and it was a chrome cassette, chrome tape. Man, did that sound good.
They can sound good,
Really
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that was very good.
So here's one that went up in value. I still have my Tascam 688 8-track cassette. I bought it in 1994 or 1992.
New.
1990. No, 19. I bought it like 1990.
Okay, so it was
Because
used
I
even
graduated in 92. So I bought it new in
then.
1990.
Yeah.
And it was $1,600. I took a loan out to buy that thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Now, one in good condition is $2,500.
Well, is that keeping up with
But
inflation?
that's probably not the same value as the $1,600 I spent.
No, I'm
back
going to
then.
say a lot
I was
less.
going to say, I don't think that
that's
kept up
dropped.
with inflation.
Okay, so ready? If you took $1,600 and put it in the stock market, this would be
Don't
funny.
depress yourself.
Yeah, you'd be about $25,000.
$1,600 times, we're going to say 5%. And what is that? 1990. So 10,
Compounding
That's
20,
35
years?
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's frightening, isn't it? 35 years ago. Good God.
Yeah, if you put it in the stock market, you'd have $8,800. And that's conservative. You
That's
probably would have a
5%,
lot
yeah.
more than that.
Which would buy you a meat pie and a beer these days anyway. So,
Yeah, that's right.
It's been doing 20% lately. That's,
maybe-
Yeah,
that's
20%, you'd have a crap load.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. You could buy my stuff and then I could invest the money into something else.
There you have it. Pro audio gear, not a solid.
I had a
investment.
hell of a lot of fun with that thing.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah.
It ain't all about the resale value.
No.
Well, that was fun. Is it over?
The Pro Audio Suite with thanks to TriMove and Austrian Audio. Recorded using Source Connect. Edited by Andrew Peters and mixed by Robbo. Got your own audio issues? Just ask Robbo.com. Tech support from George the Tech Whittam. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and join in the conversation on our Facebook group. To leave a comment, suggest a topic, or just say g'day, drop us a note at our website, theproaudiosuite.com.